Yes, we have begun our next playthrough of the channel. This time, it's Generation Zero. A game I got on sale way back years ago at this point for like $1. So I thought I may as well finally get to playing it. And boy am I glad I did. In this video we are going to go through the entire game. I'm going to review it, and I'm going to showcase how sometimes a non-horror game be even scarier than a horror game could ever dream of being. The game starts with a cutscene that explains everything that has led to the situation that the world is in now. After World War II, Sweden had an economic boom, having escaped the war for the most part. But in this alternate reality, Sweden was utterly terrified that this economic boom would lead to other countries invading it and claiming the resources that they still had. So they began pumping up their arsenal tenfold and issued an order that every civilian must have a gun and be trained for combat. But in the end, it would not matter much. You were out on your boat, just enjoying nature, when you were suddenly shot down by something. You awake a few days later on the coast of a Swedish island. And everything has changed. My lord, map. Oh my lord, look at this. Holy shit. Skills? Oh! Side collectibles, horses.
Farmor och farfar, vad är det som händer? Jag är livrädd, jag vet inte vad jag ska göra. Jag är i kyrkan. Det är jag igen. Jag vet ju redan att ni inte är hemma. Tänkte du nu, Therese? Men i alla fall, om ni hör det här, eller om polisen hör, snälla. Hjälp mig. Jag är i Iboholmens kyrka.
Oh, we need to go to a church. That's where survivors at. Oh. Textile. Oh, first aid kits are gonna be my help. For to search, of course. We're taking just right now. We're just taking everything. What the fuck is that? Is that a dog? Oh boy. Ah! Okay. Shit! That was the final boss, correct? Holy fucking shit, that was terrifying! While I make my way towards the church to finish the first quest of the game, I would like to point out two little things that stung out to me right away. Firstly, the atmosphere of this game is perfect. The sounds, honestly, I think I've never heard such a realistic soundscape in a video game ever before. It is perfect. What is the antithesis of perfect is the UI, because the UI is absolutely horrible. It took me ages to figure out what is where, and as I'm recording this voiceover, I'm not even halfway done with the game, but I have already sunk like upwards of 10 hours into it, and I still don't have a grip of it. Absolutely fucking not. What's seeing me? What? What the fuck am I doing? Ah! No! I did not expect this game to be like that, but okay. Is this even worse? Okay, make your way to Iboholm Church. Okay, we have 2 dogs there, so we're not going along the road. There's 3 right there, so we're certainly not going there. Well, where the hell do I go then? even scanning, holy shit. As I make my way into the church, we are confronted with the first enemy of the game, the runners. They are dogs, they shoot at you from a distance and will pounce at you at medium range. They are pretty easy to deal with. As for the AI of this game, it varies. Sometimes the AI is really stupid and you can literally be right up in their face and they won't see you. Other times, I swear to hell, these things gain sentience. What the fuck? Oh, hell nah. Hell no. I had this one robot later in the game just like stand in front of me, look me into my soul as my bullets bounced off it. It slowly pulled out a sword like a fucking main villain, and it was one of the most horrifying displays of aura I have ever seen. But that is for later. Please die. He has pulled out a knife! Back at the church, we meet with Therese. She is one of the very few survivors of this hellscape. Overnight, the entire Swedish population has vanished, and now these dangerous machines roam all around. And she is one of the very few characters we meet in the game who have managed to hide out somewhere. She is fine as a character, she just gets kind of annoying when later on you never actually see her again, you just hear her voice over the radio. We then get a quest to go somewhere looking for her family and so on, but I also spent this time just exploring the entire open world in my area as much as I could, because, you know, I just love that stuff. That was actually really good, because this game, at least for now, rewards exploration perfectly, giving you better guns than you would if you didn't explore and do all the side quests, and also giving you better resources, as well as, of course, just beautiful views. The first part of this game, which I'm gonna call every region that this game has parts, is near perfect. And while I have already showed you a lot of examples of how scary this game can be, it is time that we get to probably the biggest problem that this game has. Let me take you over to the whiteboard. This game majorly suffers from feature bloat. It is by far the biggest gripe I have with this game as of right now. And to showcase that, I would like to make, after every single time that we end off a recording that I did, I would like to add the features that this game has onto this whiteboard into 3 categories. Actively enhances the game, I love that it is in here, it adds the experience. Could be removed, I don't really mind it being there, but I also don't see why it is. And actively takes away from the game the time should have been spent on patching up other things like the bugs. So yeah, what do we have within literally just the first hour of me playing? Completing quests and side quests will give you XP that you can use to then unlock skill points in 4 trees. Each one of these trees has something that you probably want. However, because you level up very slowly, you are never going to be able to unlock every single skill, which means that you really have to think about what you want for your playthrough. Good. You can customize your guns, most notably with attachments that you find in the wild. Good. There are vehicles in the game that you can use to drive around faster. The downside is that they control so realistically that they are really annoying. Recycling station. Turn items you don't want into their spare parts and bare resources so that you can then reuse those for shit that you actually want to craft. Good. Crafting station. Craft stuff out of those resources. It's totally useless because you will find everything you can craft 10 times more in the wild. And finally, safe houses. The only points in the game where you can save and will have all of your stuff at. Good. And so far, it's not looking too bad. But just you wait. Deploy it like that. Take our radio and run up there. Then we take them all out. Boom! Am I the GOAT or am I the GOAT? As we keep going towards a nearby city, in which Spunker, the remaining civilization, and some of Therese's friends are supposed to be hiding, the game keeps reminding us of how important it is that we only take fights we know we can win, because we are outmatched in basically every class, and if the resources ever run out, it's game over. On the path there and once in the bunker where we realize that everybody is gone and has been put under narcotics by the government that was supposed to protect them, we not only meet the second enemy, the tick, which are basically head crabs, but we also get yet another new game mechanic, and this time it's relay beacons. These are locations where lots of enemies are gathered around, and if you destroy them, you will be given an incredibly rare item that acts as a temporary fast travel point. In concept, it's good. The problem is that this item will be given to you en masse later on, making these relay beacons just an excuse to fill out the world a little bit.
Vänta, jag byter över till rätt frekvens. Det här är Therese Knutsson. Åh, vad skönt att vi har hittat en till överlevande. Kom!
Korpral Pontus Kovac. Jag är tyvärr ensam. Fienden har dödat hela min pluton. Det är tydligen flera kompanier här i skärgården som också utplånats. Kom.
Förlåt, men kan du förklara vad som har hänt? Varför har inte armén slagit tillbaka mot de där maskinerna? Kom.
Vi försökte. Men inom ett dygn så var det fullt krig. Det var så många. Det har till och med rapporterats om ännu större maskiner. Det var helt brutalt. Kom.
Vet du vem som har skickat dem? Och var är alla människor? Kom.
Nej, ingen aning om var de kommer ifrån. Jag hjälpte till med evakueringen av civila till Västland före attacken, men sen dess har det varit radiotystnad därifrån. Kom.
Radiotystnad. Alltid redo, som man säger. Klart slut.
We meet our second character, Pontus, who I like a lot so far. He's probably my favorite character. At a command bunker, which will be the places where we will get our new main quests. Along the way, we also meet 3 new enemies, military-grade dogs, which have shotguns and more armor, seekers, which alert enemies if you get caught by them, as well as the hunters, these big-ass machines that have long-range guns, the knife, a middle-range leap, and gas grenades to chase you out of cover. They are insane, but also insanely fun to fight, in my opinion, as of right now. So we get to work on doing these quests in the first region of the game, and the story and the mystery are really enticing. We make contact with the Russians, who are trying to help us, or so at least we believe, but they may also be the very cause for this invasion, because earlier we found some containers on a beach which had deactivated machines in them. The mystery the bit that is being built up is really cool, and the open world is filled to the brim with little details that give you hints to the story that has happened before you got here. Stand still. Goes for you as well. Boom! Holy shit! Since when am I so good at aiming? Since when am I so bad at seeing the enemy? But there has to be something like at the top of the tower. Come on, something cool. Give me something cool.
No.
To be a hidden thingy bob in here. I'll do this and then I'll be over for the day. Only one can hope. I thought that said Skaven and I shit my
tom?
pants.
Då måste vi söka igenom ruinerna. Var försiktig.
What? Oh, come on! It's all the way. I just went there. Oh, that is such shitty game design. Holy fuck. That sucks. Come on. That is still one of my absolute least favorite things a video game can ever do. There was no need to not have this just spawn in.
Fucking crying, bitch! Where? I don't wanna fucking hear it!
Okay, shit. It did not see me. Potentially they did. Uh-oh. Hey, I know what this looks like, but it's not like it looks like. I'm...
Huh?
Oh, shit! Is this what happened? Is this what Britain will feel like in a few years? Okay, it's time to try out this gun. It's probably really good. Okay, there's a building here. We can make a stand at the building. We can make a stand at the building! Oh my lord! Okay, be the fucking sight! Holy shit! This is actually a horror game. They're trying to gas me out. Holy fucking hell. Oh my fucking lord! I didn't know that they could jump! Oh! Search and destroy? Why? Come on, I cannot be this shit at aiming. I'm already bad at parkour. Oh my lord, I suck at this! Yeah, no, that is just straight up embarrassing. After exploring again for a little bit, I then went back to trying to do the main story, which basically at this point was just go here and go there and try to defeat the machines or make contact with literally anybody else. There was just a lot of going around and trying to figure out what was going on while fighting different machines. But for the beginning of the story, that is of course fine. I battled through some new environments, and hey, would you look at that, we're at the end of yet another recording. Let me list yet again every new feature that I encountered in this recording, and honestly, I may be missing some because of how many there are. First up, I'd like to focus on the revive system. In this game, if you die, you don't instantly die and are forced to reset back to the nearest safe house. Instead, you go down. Then, in multiplayer, some friends can revive you with a rare item called adrenaline. In single player, you can do that all by yourself. A fair mechanic, in my opinion. The problem is that there's absolutely no limit to how many adrenaline needles you can carry. At the point of doing this voiceover, so closing in on maybe halfway through the game, I have over 50 adrenaline needles. I am literally Then there is the schematic system, where certain actions in the game or finding certain items called schematics will reward you with schematics points. These points can be invested to unlock new crafting recipes in their respective categories in which you unlocked them. Combining this system with the already not that useful crafting system makes it even less enticing to even bother crafting anything bad. Stopping with the negativity train for a while, there is actually a system introduced that I really love. The rival system. Occasionally, a machine will rise to the rank of rival. In this case, you now have a machine roaming around your world, which is just ever so slightly stronger than other ones, and if you defeat it, you get special rare resources. The twist is that for every time that this machine beats you, or the longer you leave it walking around, the stronger it gets. Meaning you need to find the perfect balance between being actually strong enough to fight it and not waiting around for too long and preparing for excessive amounts of time. Really good. Continuing on our journey to find any trace of the survivors or the origins of the machines, we near the end of our first region, which is where the game decides to finally tease us with what is to come. What in the fuck? Oh, that's a big boy. A tank. Holy shit.
A few moments later.
Alltså, det är väl inte helt omöjligt.
Nej, vi kan inte tillåta oss att tänka så. Det här
Why
är
is
vårt
this
problem
our
nu.
problem?
Vi måste lösa det.
Since when is this our problem? And since when have you decided? Oh boy. Yeah, with that. What the fuck is that now? Great, we swapped out a big robot for a somehow even bigger one. Little did I know that my fears were completely unjustified, because it was around this time where I unlocked the end of my skill tree, which gives me the ability to hack robots. I will go into a little bit more detail on what this does later, when it completely destroys the game's balance entirely and turns me into a god. That sounds strange. Okay. That's why I love, above all, fireworks. Despite the story of the game telling me to go on to the next region because the machines were building something, I decided to stay in the very first region and finish all the quests first, which gave me a companion, a little robot dog that now battles alongside me. The companion system is absolutely amazing. I also found this really creepy burning survival site, and I just love finding stuff like this in open world games. Moving into the farmlands region, the story keeps going. We find an enemy base which we are tasked with taking out. There are dozens of turrets on the sides, machines patrolling inside, and there's power generators that we have to destroy. Everything points to this being a new stealthy type of objective. Sadly, that is not it. You have to shoot at these power generators to destroy them, which of course eviscerates any stealth that there was to begin with. At the end, you then have to take out the main generator, which has some shields, so you gotta wait for them to go down. Once they're down, you shoot at it. It either spawns in some robots or fires some missiles, and then you rinse and repeat till the base is dead. Just like rivals, these bases will randomly begin appearing while you explore the world. However, I cannot in my right mind, give them the same ranking as the rival system, because they're honestly just not that fun to deal with, these bases. However, I also cannot give them the whole bad thing, because these bases do change the better they get. They will have mines or little wall modules that send you flying away. That's kind of it though. And after that, oh boy, does this game go downhill fast, man. This shit goes up in flames faster than the Hindenburg. Holy shit. Right after destroying that base, we are introduced to a base building system, which, from how I and other people on the internet understood it, and yes, I researched, what I thought was going to happen was you build your base and you can like begin mining with that base for a passive resource income, at the cost that sometimes machines will attack the base and you gotta defend it. And I thought, hey, that's cool. There's gonna be some urgency when I'm just walking around this old world. No, just a random amount of machines spawns in, destroys everything you have in my case, and it just sucks utter ass. Bad. This is such a waste of time. There's no reason for this to even exist. Okay. Is it safe to... Sure! Let's take on the biggest machine in the fucking game! Gosh, I love this system! And after that, it somehow only goes more downhill. First, the game becomes a buggy mess, with sometimes enemies getting stuck in the terrain, my fucking dog vanishing to the Shadow Realm, resources just disappearing, or me falling into the abyss. You know what we can also add onto the bad list of the game systems? How about the entire fucking quest system? Just throw it all on there. As of this voiceover, I've finished the entire farmlands region. The only thing you do in these quests is go to a point and hold E down on something, or hold down the left trigger to kill something. Which would be fine if the quests were at the very least making some sort of sense, because we are still in that primitive stage where for some reason you just cannot perform quest-related objectives until you have finished the previous objective or gotten the quest. I walked up to some other enemy base and wasted all my resources trying to destroy it, only to learn, yeah, no, I can't actually destroy it, because I haven't been told to destroy this base. I've only been told to destroy every base! But enough of ranting. I eventually began making my way through this farmlands region, hoping to progress the story. We'll get to that later. And I encountered a few new enemies, like military class hunters, which now deploy ticks. So yeah, that's kinda cool. And I also went to the military base, which is honestly quite the cool location. It's unique. There are very little resources there, which really confused me. But there are so many, so powerful enemies there that it's a nice experience that you have to be super stealthy unless you want to fight an entire war against the machines. I then made a very long trip across the farmlands region where honestly I gotta say it's kind of boring. There isn't any memorable spots I have in my head, and it made me realize just how samey the houses are in this game. It really makes exploration boring in the long run, because there's like 2 presets for farmhouses and a single house, and the only thing that ever changes is the decorative objects inside. So yeah, that got boring real fast once you notice that. And oh boy, why do I hear that music again? Oh, maybe it's because the game's fucking up again. This time it's the entirety of the story campaign. So for some reason the developers thought that it was an incredible idea to make the story not tied to progress, but tied to your location on the map. Which meant that when I got to this farmhouse, which had a giant drone flying above it, and I took out that drone, I had apparently skipped ahead like 2 chapters in the story, cause some random character I had never met before in my life rung me up like a homie and just started talking some smack to me. If it did, we maybe cooked? That is. Okay, it is mad at me. Shit! We're gonna remote hack this thing. I don't give a fuck. You know, we were trying to kill a tank, instead we're killing a dragon. What the fuck? I'm not giving up until I attack this thing. I actually got it! Ah, strongest enemy in the game, my ass! You're my bitch now! Okay, stand nice and still. Boom! Yeah, keeps flying right there, right there. Boom! Boom! I don't even know what I just killed, but gosh, I'm hyped now. There's also certainly something about to come my way, so yeah, you Riley, just take care of it. Okay. Come on. Bring me that thing's carcass. Holy shit. Oh my lord, I am so gonna start killing everything I see.
Hallå? Det här är Mona Jonsson från motståndsrörelsen i Tyleveden. Hade du hittat en spårsamlare på en sån där sovjetisk flygande maskin, sa du? Tack.
Is that a tank?
Om vad som egentligen händer där borta. Våra spanare, de kommer inte längre tillbaka.
Who the fuck is Mona? Admittedly, after this I did have a load of fun because I finally decided to take on a tank and a harvester both at the same time. Along with my companion, who I kept calling Riley for some reason, even though this cute little companion has the much better name of Princess Murder Demon. Boom! The battle is on, bitch! What? No, it can't be dead yet. Come on! Give me some more! Boom! I haven't even started having fun! There we go! Come on! This your best! Oh, there's a lot more up its sleeve. Riley, careful there, buddy. Boom! Okay, Riley's armor is officially down. Let's try this gun. There we go! Now your dumbass is coming next! Respectable. Boom! Boom! Hada! Pow! Now this game's getting real good again. Still alive, huh? Not for much longer. Boom! There goes it down. Now then, I am not notorious for breaking games and playing them not like how they should be played, but maybe that's going to start being a reoccurring trend, because I sure as hell broke this game, if you couldn't tell already. So what I thought the progression of this game was you go through each of the zones, and since the farmlands region were the second zone I ever entered, I thought that it would be the second easiest one. But that is not at all how this game works. The further north you go, the harder the game gets. The farmlands region stretches out all the way into one of the furthest northern parts of this open world. So you can only guess my surprise when I suddenly stumbled across some new robots I'd never seen before waging a war against the other machines. And of course, even now, I have no idea what the lore or story implications of this are, because I simply have not gotten to that story beat yet. I somehow managed to skip all over it, thanks to the wonderful story system of this game. Now then, where would I rank multi-faction battles? I'll place them in the middle, I'd say. It is very cool that they happen, but the way that the alert system in this game works is if you are spotted by an enemy, and that enemy is now on to get your ass and to fight you, every other enemy you walk past will also instantly be aggressive and start attacking you. Which means that if you walk past a battle of giant machines, where everybody is already aggressive, and you just happen to run into another machine somewhere along the road a bit too soon for the aggression to wear off again, yeah, that thing's gonna start fighting you. It is kind of annoying, going to be honest. Yeah. Practice your aim on the... Whoa! Armor piercing? It's taking you so long to finally understand me, game. Damn! Pretty. What do you even do? Phoenix class runners my ass. He's hitting a Beyblade move on my ass. He hit that ninja move though. What? How much? Why do these bots have so much fucking HP? These aren't even Phoenix class, I'm pretty sure. Ooh. Oh, so that's what Phoenix dogs do. They have rocket launchers. that thing is trying to fight me because it keeps following, but then again, I have no proof. Maybe it is just curious, you know, if animals can't be curious, why shouldn't machines? They're just animals of our own making. Put that in like a quote. Sign it with my name. And charge like $30 for like alpha male influencers to use it. Well, I kept exploring the farmland, slowly but surely getting very bored of the barren landscape and spending my time fighting the big machines instead. I progressed onwards even further north, doing the main quests and doing the side quests. But even that was getting boring. Not because the quests are so basic, like I said, I don't mind it that much, but there is absolutely no story to go along with them. Like, sure, there's little story snippets about other people, but it always boils down to, hey, these people went here, they probably stored some ammunition there, now I gotta go there to get that ammunition. It is always the same thing and just super boring. And there, like, the resistance that we were building that was being set up in the first act of the game has just vanished completely at this point in terms of the story. So there's not that much motivation to keep on going and fighting, no matter how fun these battles may be. Okay, somehow me hitting it with that door completely broke it. Good. Please join my team. Why won't these guys join my team? Why can't I only hack the actual hard enemies? Like, I'd like to have you. What the fuck is my RNG? 30% chance instantly. Don't even have to ask. I'm just giving it. Anything higher? Hell no, too easy. Not allowing you to hack that. Can I hack you? Thank you. Like, do we even know what's going on anymore? Boom! Let's take out the harvest stuff first. Even more. In the meantime, I'll like try to hack some more of you guys. There we go, another one bites the dust. Boom! Is that thing dead? Pretty sure it is. Okay, good. No, it's still alive. It was just EMP. Holy fuckaroonies. You wanna work for me? No, you don't. Okay, fair enough. Hey, you want to work for me though, I can see it, yeah! Very careful, Riley. Riley, no! Holy shit, what is... Riley, you're not dying! But I am! Survey's completed. You really picked the worst possible country to invade with Sweden. Like, where is there not gonna be a tree in the way of your gunfire, you know? Boom! What, by the time that I finally got to finishing off the farmlands region, I'm gonna be honest, I was quite tired. So tired of fighting enemies, in fact, that I decided to do the bases instead. Which were not that different, so I was just further bored. I decided to hunt down a rival, and just like I said before, if you are in combat and any enemy passes by, he joins the fight. So I ended up with like 7 tanks and 30 trillion hunters, some of which Phoenix hunters which have rail cannons on their backs, just all duking it out. And while big battles in this game are decently fun, there is a certain threshold where a battle just becomes so big that it is just annoying, because you will win it, it's just gonna take so long, just like it did with me in this case. And while the hacking ability made it so that every single battle that didn't have a tank in it was basically able to be skipped because I could just make every single machine work for me instead of fighting me, the farmlands did bring me one cool location for a quest, where you have to, you guessed it, go to a place to check for an ammunition stash, just like every single time. But this ammunition stash was hidden in like a gigantic underground bunker, which was pretty cool and scary, but it looked so incredibly samey and was just so empty that it just really was not as exciting as it could have been. And with a pretty sour taste in my mouth, I moved on to the third chapter of this game. While the South Coast region was better than the Farmlands region, I really cannot tell you anything more about what happened in it than saying the story is still dead. I haven't heard of Therese or Pontus once, ever since I got to the halfway point of the Farmlands region. And the only actual mini story beat we get to the main story that isn't just, hey, look for supplies here because something happened, is that the military was already beginning to hunt down people before all of these events happened for looking into some power outages they were having. And there is one very cool environmental storytelling piece here where a girl tells her family to flee because the military is coming after them, and sure enough, when you get to their house, it is filled to the brim with gas grenades. That was cool, and that was also the only story related thing that actually caught my interest. Otherwise, it is just the Farmlands region over again, just walking around, grabbing resources, and really not doing much else. This isn't like a good open world game where there'd be the story you do and then there'd be other stuff to do in the open world that would give you a break from the story. No, story and open world exploration are one and the same, and it makes things get boring very quickly. However, there are some positives I'd like to get out the way first. Right when I first entered this region, I was met with the Apocalypse class machines, the most powerful machines there are in the game. This at the very least tells me that the difficulty is not just tied to how far up north you are, but also to your level, because these were not spawning before, now they're spawning everywhere. They are fun in terms of their attacks. They are so outlandishly powerful that it is just fun to fight them. The hunters have flamethrowers, the tanks send out shock waves of fire, the harvesters that can now just spawn in enemies of their own. They are fun, but they also have way too much HP. And what is way worse is that they are nigh impossible to hack. The special ability system in this game is dog shit. Basically, every time you level up a skill tree to the max, you get a special ability, and you can only equip one, which doesn't make any sense because the hacking ability is just the best one by a mile. The other special abilities are completely useless shit, like being able to revive yourself once without using a stim. And if it wasn't for the hacking ability, I would have quit this game halfway through the Farmlands region. Because at this point, the groups of enemies you will have to fight have gotten so ridiculously big that it is not fun anymore. The most fun thing in combat has been hacking the enemies, because there is a sense of strategy to it. Do you go for the very easy enemies that will also die pretty quickly, but you're basically guaranteed to get a hack? Or do you risk it and try to hack a stronger enemy, which will maybe help you for longer before it dies? But now you of course have the problem that there is a very good chance that your hacking will fail, and you have to survive 10 whole seconds without having hacked anything. That has been the only thing that has been keeping the combat of this game fun for me. But what? Why the fuck is Helldivers music playing now? Oh boy, this can only mean one thing. And what it means is that this game is about to become somehow even more shit. Filled to the brim with features nobody asked for, and bugs I cannot comprehend how they happened. Okay, let's start it all off with the bugs. Firstly, my main gun, this LMG, has this bug where it just all ammo just vanishes just randomly. I just have to reload for no reason at all sometimes. I still fall through the map, and I now have the wonderful bug where the game proudly informs me that after leveling up I have earned -1 skill points. What the fuck? And what's even worse is that the map of this game is absolutely dog shit. Dozens of times by now, it has failed to show me bridges that are important for me to get to little islands. It has failed to show me the locations of safe houses. And sometimes it just completely fails to show the locations of buildings entirely. How does a painting have bugs? And if you thought that was bad, just wait until you see some of the locations that this region has to offer. There was this one very cool looking one which had a robot base mixed with a castle, and supposedly there were 6 weapons in there, and I was hyped because it looked interesting. There was a siren that kept spawning in the exact same type of enemy, military hunters, like every 30 seconds or so. And there were these weird pillars going up and down that I'd never seen before. So I thought I have to somehow turn the siren off. I noticed that one of these pillars was leading up to a window. And this farm shack sometimes has something like a little platform behind that window, where your safe house usually puts you when you TP to it. So I put 2 and 2 together and thought that's how you deactivate the siren. Once the siren is off, I can deal with the enemies and then get my loot. Yeah, I didn't find anything here besides disappointment. Boom! Oh, that is a lot of units coming my way, though. That is a lot of... Okay, yeah! Wonderful! Yes, I'm fighting all of this! Aha! However, despite all the negativity that I have put out so far, there was one area in this region that I genuinely thought was amazing, because you could tell that it was crafted by hand down to the encounters that you had. It wasn't just a bunch of machines that just randomly spawned in there. There was this bunker, which from the inside was just like an ordinary command bunker, but it also had an outside area where there was this almost arena-like ring with a military tank thrown in there and a few hunters. And this fight was super fun, because you could obviously take on all but have to deal with both the hunters and the tanks, or you could hack the hunters and use them against the tank, or you could go around and go up and get a super good vantage point to take out most just from up here, at the risk of being knocked down by the tank with the shockwave attack and dying instantly. This was a super fun area, full of tense moments of stealth and action. This was really cool, and it was the only time I felt like this. Don't even need to do that, just kidding. Oh wait, cool, this is another safe house that isn't marked on the fucking map. At this point, I have talked about basically everything that there is to talk about. So I'm just going to be running you through my gameplay experience now. So firstly, we entered the forest region, where, as of right now, and I only have 2 more regions left, it is my favorite region of the game. There isn't a lot to explore, but what you can explore is undoubtedly handcrafted and beautiful. There is this giant city in which you can fight robots in, which is just the exact thing that I wanted from this game. And this is where the game really flexes its graphical muscles. However, I wish I could say the same for the gameplay. The gameplay is still the exact same. You walk around and look for main quests and side quests to do. I have still not heard once of Therese or Pontus again ever since the beginning of the Farmlands region. And story, there is basically nothing to be found. Quest variety is incredibly minimal, with only really 3 objectives ever being there. Hold E on this item, destroy this machine, or blow up these fuel cells. It is really boring, which is why at this point I really only explored where the quests took me. If there was some area off to the side that had no quest attached to it, and I didn't see like a weapons counter appear when I got close to it, I just did not bother exploring it because I was just that bored at this point. At some point in this recording, and I cannot even pinpoint where, I found a new melee weapon. At first I had that bat, now I had an axe or a hammer or something. The point is, melee weapons are a whole ass system in this game, and they are about as useful as you expect them to be in a game where every enemy has a gun. What? Hold up. What the fuck? Just give me the good music! Come on, what the fuck? Oh man, not the lobster! And no, chill out, I know that it's a classical piece of music, but all I can think about is that fucking lobster when I hear that. But hey, credit where credit is due, when you can actually take your eyes off how beautiful the forest region is in this game, there is one quest in this region that I genuinely enjoyed a lot. The quest, The Gas Factory, does nothing more than combine all 3 quest types. Destroy fuel cells, destroy enemies, and hold E on certain objects. But it does so in a way that it is actually enjoyable, because this quest has a little bit of story behind it, with you going to a factory to figure out why it is of importance to the machines and finding out that this is where the machines get their fuel supply from. Then there are some actually fun and unique encounters, like this room that is full of gas and has hunters in it that just looks amazing. And the quest perfectly ties into the open world structure of this game, because in doing this quest, you explore the entirety of this factory part of the map. You do this quest and you explore at the same time. No longer are they separate. Sadly, there is nothing else of note about the forest region though. While I would like to point out that I know this game is very heavily reliant on lore, kind of like Dark Souls, where you are supposed to read all the item descriptions to get hints to what happened in the story, the game needs to actually make me care enough to do that, because the gameplay sure isn't carrying it, and if there is no story that is progressing to begin with, then I'm not really that interested in reading through dozens of item descriptions to find out more about it. There are very few times where the game made what I picked up sound so interesting that I had to read it. They could have done that a little bit better by literally just having a short description of what you just picked up appear when you pick it up, instead of just saying, oh yeah, these are the notes of this and this person. I realize that I have been very negative for a long time now, so let me give this game an actual positive point. Another mechanic that this game has is weapon augmenting, where by completing certain challenges you can unlock new skills you can then put on your weapons using resources. For example, I put an EMP effect on my sniper that stuns enemies temporarily if I hit them enough with it. This is a genuinely cool system and makes weapons that otherwise would not be so useful actually useful in a variety of situations. It ties in really well with the item system, where you can use stuff like radios to lure enemies or fireworks to make them unable to shoot at you. I like this feature. And I'm sorry that I'm talking so much, but I shit you not, we are already done with the forest region and now in the mountains region, which is the most boring region I've been in so far. It looks so damn bland. And I basically had to make all of the fun for myself by fighting against a lot of enemies, and you know, sometimes the encounters actually manage to be fun, like this one that I'm showing you right now. So yeah, to give you a break from listening to me yap, let me just show a few other gameplay moments. Where did I see you? Alright, what's my task here? It's another fucking destroy the fuel canisters mission. Oh my lord. We've had this like 10 times by now. Well, I guess thank you. And I am sorry to say that that was about everything interesting that I could show of the gameplay. But despite all of the negativity, it is within the mountains region where perhaps the best quests lie. Not only do they oftentimes take you across an entire area of the map like the gas factory quest did, but I also encountered the best quest in the entire game so far. Everything about this quest is actually good. From the moment you arrive, you see this drone stuck in the ground emitting some weird signal. You can't destroy it, so of course you approach it. Relay beacons begin dropping from the sky alongside machines to protect them, and then you are tasked with destroying the radar beacons and the machines. Not only is this something new, and something where something actually happens in the quest, it is also giving you some cool world building, telling you that these drones, the Seekers, are what is used for whatever is sending in the reinforcements for these machines to pinpoint the locations. They act as radar beacons. That is cool. And at the end of the quest, they spice things up one last time by throwing a Phoenix tank at you, truly making this a fully rounded and dynamic quest. There is also this underground railroad system, which is a pretty creepy and cool location. Sadly, it's just entirely empty, so there's nothing to really fight in here besides like 1 or 2 hunters. And I'm sorry I'm talking so much, but there really is not much to show. The only thing I can show is me finally taking on the final 2 machines of this game that I have not fought yet. Okay, rockets, 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 a lot of rockets. Boom, we've shot that one off. Okay, it's spawning in little guys. Okay, both rocket launchers are off. Alright, yeah! Give me the fight. Oh, this thing is cool! Holy shit! It does not chill. Oh. Okay. That was absolutely terrible. I get it, these things are very powerful. Can you knock off the minigun? Sure. Come on. What the f- I just finished the final 2 areas of Generation 0, and with that, the entire game. And I honestly cannot believe I'm sitting here right now and I'm about to say the words that I am. But the game gets good again. I don't know where this came from. Sure, there are still lots of issues, the bugs still persist, but the story really picks up again. And I'm not gonna sit here and deny that there not being any story at all for like the entire middle section of the game did not impact it. The story is still way weaker than it should be and was building up to be in the first chapter of the game. Therese and Pontus are still fuck knows where, never heard of those guys again. Yeah, that sucks. And yes, the whole thing of building a resistance is completely dead in the water and never gets brought back up again. And that's like one of the main selling points of the game, so yeah, that sucks. And we never learn what happened to Therese's friends and why the military was gassing random people and transporting them off to somewhere. Yeah, that sucks. But hey, at the very least there is something I can genuinely say I really like about this game. The Marshlands region, the first of the final 2 areas of the game, is by heart still what every single region is. Go in there, find the command bunker, fix the power, get your quests, and then get to doing them while exploring the world. Once you're done, move to the next region. It's still that, but now there's a little bit of a gameplay twist, because the other machines that fight the Phoenix machines are now much more prevalent and are actually, in my opinion, from what I saw, more dominant. Like, you will see more of those than of the machines that you've been fighting this entire game. And we even get new, stronger variants for them, which is fine. It mixes things up a bit, but I don't enjoy them too much. And some of these are genuinely the worst enemies in the entire game. The worst one being the stronger version of the Firebird that doesn't even shoot fire and instead just shoots projectiles that not only hit you through the terrain, but also hit you when they don't actually hit you.
Man, this is some bullshit!
The first big story moment happens when we begin following some survivors that actually manage to escape off of this island. And we're supposed to deliver a message for them to a resistance camp, which makes no sense since everybody's dead, but glossing over that fact, reading through some of their notes in the lore logs, we can figure out that the other machines that are fighting the Phoenix machines are made by the Russians and sent over here to destroy the Phoenix machines, despite the Phoenix machines seemingly being chill with the Russians for an unknown reason. This is later reinforced when we find a Phoenix base with Russian equipment just chilling within. So we don't really know what's going on there, but I just chopped it up to the Russians being just as confused by these robots were friendly to them as I was, so just in case they began building their own robots to defend themselves. The story then takes us all the way back into the mountains region, where we enter the laboratory where the prototypes for these robots were being built, giving us the giant revelation that these robots, which have basically killed everyone in this island on Sweden, were built by Sweden, which of course opens up a whole nother can of worms as to who is controlling these things, because it's clear these machines are no longer a foreign enemy, and somewhere along the road we also learn that they are being controlled by a supercomputer hidden somewhere within the North Coast region. Our only hope of stopping this invasion is going to be to destroy it. So I of course went to the North Coast region, where my first impressions weren't all too good because right when I got there the entire AI of the game bugged and no enemies were attacking me anymore. Well, except one. Hey! How's it going? One plot point does actually get brought back, however, and that is us trying to make contact with the Russians, who now finally finished the message that they've been trying to tell us this whole time. They have sent out a device to Sweden that is set to once and for all be able to destroy this AI. An EMP bomb. So we grab that bomb from a boat, and with that, it is time to begin looking for where we have to place it. Before we can do that, we finally meet up with Mona. For some reason, there are NPCs again in this game, and I never even learned how she got to know us. I never met her before, but she was that one woman that talked to me when we were yapping about the first drone I destroyed. So I guess she's here now. Cool. So they had the ability to make NPCs but chose not to? Anyways, for her, we destroy all the Russian beacons near the Swedish shore so that no Russian machines can be sent out to this island again. We have officially broken off the Russians from this war. It truly feels like the end. The final few missions of this game see us chasing after a mysterious doctor called von Ulmer who worked on neurological science. He was suffering from AIDS and wanted to sort of sacrifice himself to his endeavors, but I think his friends and wives didn't want to. And this is pure speculation, but I think he ended up becoming the main villain AI we are fighting now. We eventually find that master keycard and it points us to a base we have already been at before, but we couldn't enter a certain underground area yet. And it basically tells us this is the bunker where the supercomputer is located. Finish the fight once and for all. Are we ready to finish it? Let's go.
Du är fortfarande här. Det väntade jag mig inte. Borde jag frukta dig eller vara stolt över dig? På sätt och vis var det ju jag som skapade dig. Jag har också förändrats. Jag har mognat. Jag har andra mål. Från början ville jag ha allt som fanns i närheten. Jag greppade allt jag kunde finna. Klämde på det, testade det. Precis som ett barn. Men nu vill jag ha det som är längst ifrån mig. Det som är utom räckhåll. Är du en av de sakerna, tro?
Oh, shit.
Här är det, min födelseplats. Men han är inte här. Jag är inte här. Och nu borde du lämna den här platsen. Jag vet varför du kom hit. Jag vet vad det är du bär med dig.
So we place the device, and as we're about to leave, the whole bunker just explodes. And with that, the entire game ends. Hard cut to black. I don't know. I guess the Russians kind of betrayed us and delivered a nuke to Sweden instead of the promised EMP device. And while we didn't take out the AI, because like it said, it wasn't there anymore, we took out like the servers of it all across Sweden, or at least across the island where we are at. And now I hear what you're saying. Karatalotl. This isn't the end of the game. There's the showdown update, which serves no other purpose but to finish the story. Cool, I'm not playing that. Not only do I no longer even have any will in me to keep playing this game, do you know how the showdown update story ends? You destroy the FNIC supercomputer, and I shit you not, the characters just stand on a hill and say, "Huh, glad that's over. Too bad that all the machines are still around and we still gotta deal with them." The end. So you basically play even more of the story, only for absolutely nothing to change. So yeah, I'm honestly content with the ending just being the character dying in the explosion betrayed by the Russians or something. That was Generation Zero. Except maybe, wait, let me hold up. We still gotta add one last feature to the terrible list on this dumb whiteboard I made. The Tyrant system. Where basically, if you go against anything that this game sells itself to be, and let the rivals get as powerful as possible and then take them out, and let the bases get as powerful as possible and then take them out, then you will get like a rare ticket, and then you can summon in a super strong enemy called a Tyrant class machine. I played through the entire game and I didn't have enough of these dumb tickets to summon even one, so there's that system. It goes against everything that I liked about the rival and base system, so screw this system. I originally put in this whiteboard with all the bad features in the game just so I had a red herring to keep you guys watching. But while I did this, I slowly realized that, yeah, the developers just really did focus on the wrong things when making this game. Like, who the hell asked for a base building mechanic if the story is just not even there in the entire middle section of the game? So I feel like feature bloat did kind of ruin the vision that this game had. But still, that doesn't take away from the fact that the very first area is genuinely 10 out of 10 gaming, with some really nice horror elements thrown into the mix of this action stealth shooter. My final review for this game would be a game with a lot of passion poured into it, incredible enemies, incredible gunplay, incredible lore and world building, but in the end, just a lack of focus on refining what really mattered for an open world game of this scale. The story is interesting, and you can tell that they didn't think it through because characters literally vanish into thin air. While I personally would not recommend you this game, maybe it just ended up not being for me, and if what you heard right here sounds like exactly what you're looking for, do yourself a favor, find a friend and play this game, because there is a lot of actually really good stuff here. So in the end, while I don't think Generation Zero deserves to be forgotten, I can surely understand why it was. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, see ya.